Army, something happened. Tonight wasn't supposed to be like this. The lights went down, the crowd screamed, and everyone held their breath, waiting for that moment when Taehyung would step on stage beside Jin. But that moment never came. Fans kept looking. Chants filled the stadium. Cameras searched every corner. And yet, Taehyung never appeared. At first, people thought it was a surprise. Then they thought it was a schedule conflict. But the truth, the real reason behind his absence, is something far more emotional than anyone expected. This isn't about music. This isn't about schedules. This is about something personal. Something heavy. And once you understand why Taehyung didn't show up at the RUN SEOKJIN tour, your heart will break. Just like millions of ARMY around the world, the stadium was shaking. Banners waved. Purple lights painted the air, and the entire arena echoed with one name, Seokjin. This was supposed to be a celebration, a reunion, a moment ARMY had dreamed of since the enlistment days. Jin, finally back on stage. But beneath the excitement, there was another expectation, whispers running through the air, like electricity before thunder. Taehyung will come. Of course he will. It's Jin. They wouldn't miss this moment. Cameras pointed toward the backstage entrance. Fans clutched their phones, waiting to record the moment the two brothers would stand side by side again. But as the show went on, song after song, moment after moment, cheer after emotional tear, Taehyung never appeared. At first, fans smiled, believing it was a surprise moment being saved for the end. But the longer they waited, the heavier the silence felt. Something was off. This wasn't normal. This wasn't schedule conflict energy. This wasn't a casual absence. And some fans noticed the subtle shift in Jin's eyes, the brief glance to the side of the stage, the quiet sigh before the encore. There was a story there, point one, not spoken, yet felt by millions, and while the stadium roared, the question whispered in the hearts of ARMY everywhere. Where's Taehyung? And why isn't he here? Because sometimes the loudest heartbreak begins in silence. At first, it felt like any other magical stage moment. Jin laughed. He waved. He joked with the crowd like no time had passed at all. But then, there were the pauses. Tiny pauses. Moments where his smile softened. Just a little too much. Moments where his eyes searched the side stage, but found nothing. Moments where the cheers didn't fully drown out the unspoken truth hanging in the air, and ARMY noticed, because ARMY always notices. On social media, comments started appearing like sparks in the dark. Where's Tae? He wouldn't miss this. Guys, something feels off. Fancams zoomed in on Jin's expression between songs. The excitement didn't disappear, but a quiet concern began creeping in. Then came the emotional ballad. Jin stood under a single spotlight, voice trembling through the stadium. The massive screens showed a close-up of him, eyes glistening, breath heavy with emotion. A moment meant to be powerful suddenly felt heavy. When the crowd shouted Kim Seokjin, many voices added another name under their breath. Kim Taehyung, some fans clutched light sticks a little tighter. Some wiped tears without fully knowing wide and official announcement, an explanation from staff. Nothing but silence. And in that silence, the realization grew. Taehyung wasn't late. Taehyung wasn't backstage. Taehyung wasn't coming, and the absence didn't feel casual. It felt emotional. Like a missing piece in a moment that was supposed to be whole, a celebration suddenly had a shadow. And ARMY, for the first time that night, felt a little scared of the answer. Because when someone who always shows up doesn't, there's always a reason that hurts. It started quietly to single rumor, tucked in between comments, like a fragile thread waiting for someone to pull it. There's a reason Taehyung isn't here. And suddenly, the internet didn't feel loud anymore. It felt tense. Twitter pages updated every second. Fan accounts refreshing, hunting for a clue. Live chats buzzing faster than the music in the arena. Screenshots circulated. Whispers turned into theories. Theories turned into fear. Not drama, not scandal. Fear because ARMY knows the difference between absence for schedule and absence because someone's heart is somewhere else entirely. One fan post went viral. This isn't like Tae. Something's wrong. Another wrote. Jin keeps looking to the side like he expected someone to join him. Fancams caught the exact moment the final chorus echoed. And a subtle softness crossed Jin's face like a silent memory, like someone important should have been there. That clip alone hit millions of views in minutes. And just like that, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, all flooded with one question. Why wasn't Taehyung there? And beneath that question, a deeper one whispered through every post, every teary fan voice, every shaking light stick. Is he okay? Because ARMY doesn't jump to drama, not with someone they love like family. When Taehyung goes quiet, the world gets worried. This wasn't excitement anymore. This wasn't confusion. This was concern layered with heartbreak wrapped in fear. Something was happening, and everyone could feel it. A beautiful night suddenly tasted bittersweet, like a smile hiding tears, like confetti falling on a moment that wasn't complete. And without a single official word, the fandom already knew. Silence doesn't lie. The stadium was roaring. But somehow, Jin looked like he could hear a different sound, something quieter, something inside. He stood in the center of the stage, lights painting him in gold and soft white, a returning hero, surrounded by love, yet carrying a weight only he understood. There was a moment, small, barely noticeable, but ARMY caught it right after the final chorus. The cheers erupted, and Jin lifted his mic to speak. But he paused. Just 1 second. A breath held, eyes drifting again to the right side of the stage, and O1 stood there, and yet his expression softened, like he was seeing someone who wasn't physically present, but emotionally impossible to forget. His voice cracked, just slightly as he whispered, "Thank you for waiting for me." Not rehearsed, not polished, something raw. He looked down for a heartbeat, a tiny smile forming, but not the confident one we're used to. It was the kind of smile people make to stop themselves from crying, like he was thinking of someone who should be next to him, like he was speaking to someone beyond the lights and cheers that an own name said, but everyone felt who it was for. That wasn't an idol speaking, that was Kim Seokjin, a brother, a friend, a human being holding back emotion, and the crowd felt it. Lightstick slowed. Cheers softened. It was as if the entire arena held its breath with him, because sometimes a name doesn't need to be spoken for the heart to scream. Taehyung's absence wasn't loud, it was achingly quiet, a silence filled with history, with unspoken memories, with a connection deeper than a moment on stage. And as Jin bowed, eyes glimmering, the message was clear. The absence meant something, something real, something felt by him, by ARMY. By everyone watching. This wasn't about drama. It was about emotion, loyalty, timing, and a story that hadn't been told yet, but was echoing louder than any encore. It happened after the lights dimmed, after the final bow, after the confetti danced through the air like falling stars. Jin had exited the stage. The stadium was still vibrating from emotion, fans wiping tears, hearts full yet unsettled. And then it surfaced, a tiny detail, point one that could have been missed in a blink, but ARMY's eyes never miss. Someone uploaded a backstage clip, just a few seconds long. Jin walking toward the dressing room, still glowing from the stage lights, breathing heavy from emotion, and in his hand, something small and familiar. A bracelet. Not just any bracelet. A bracelet Taehyung had been seen wearing countless times in the past, the same one fans recognized from lives, photos, and airport departures. Simple, warm, sentimental. And there it was, wrapped around Jin's fingers as he walked alone backstage. N.O. announcement. N.O. words. Just that silent symbol. Like a piece of someone who wasn't there still with him. The clip exploded. Comments flooded within minutes. That's Taehyung's bracelet. Why is Jin holding it? Did Tae give it to him before the show? This wasn't a simple absence.